Mr. Clark's list. The clock hands had just ticked past midnight. It was only Arthur's third night working as a security guard at the old, dilapidated asylum on the outskirts of the city. The building was a relic of the Victorian era, filled with damp walls, long shadows, and endless dark corridors. His job was simple: check the security cameras every 2 hours and do not leave the building until sunrise. On his first day, the old guard handing over the shift, Mr. Clark, had shoved a strange, crumpled list into his hand. Arthur had laughed it off at the time, thinking it was just the senile ramblings of an old man. The list read, between 0166 am and 46 am. Do not turn on the hallway lights. If you see someone on camera 3, do not stare at the screen. Most importantly, if there is a knock at the door at night and someone asks for help, whether it is a friend or a stranger, never open the door. Tonight was the third night. Outside, a fierce storm was raging. Rain lashed against the windows like fingernails scratching on glass. Arthur sat in the guard booth, scrolling through his phone. Boredom was setting in. Don't open the door. Who would come to this god-forsaken place in the middle of the night anyway? He thought with a smirk. Suddenly, the electricity flickered and died. The monitors went pitch black. The room plunged into darkness, illuminated only by the brief, ghostly flashes of lightning from the window. Arthur clicked on his flashlight, intending to check the breaker box in the hallway. Just as his hand reached for the door handle, a distinct sound came from the other side of the heavy metal door. Knock, knock, knock. The deception! Arthur froze. That wasn't the wind or the rain. That was a deliberate, human knock. He held his breath and pressed his ear against the cold metal. Arthur? A voice called from outside. A cold sweat broke out all over Arthur's body. The voice was incredibly familiar. It was his best friend, Sam. But Sam was supposed to be in the city, safe in his own apartment. How could he possibly be here? Arthur opened the door. Please, they're chasing me. Sam's voice cracked with panic and terror. Arthur hesitated. Logic told him this was impossible. But emotion took over. His friend was in danger. His trembling hands fumbled for the keys. Just as he was about to insert the key into the lock, Mr. Clark's warning flashed in his mind like lightning. No matter who it is, never open the door. Arthur, hurry. They're getting closer, screamed Sam, now pounding on the door with his fists. Arthur decided to check the peephole first. He slowly leaned in, pressing his eye to the glass. It was dark outside, but a flash of lightning illuminated the scene, and Arthur's heart nearly stopped. Sam was standing there. His clothes were torn, his face etched with fear. But he wasn't looking back at the darkness. He was staring directly into the peephole, straight into Arthur's eyes, and he was smiling. It wasn't a smile of relief, but an unnatural, ear-to-ear grin that looked too wide for a human face. I see you, Arthur, the voice said. It no longer sounded like Sam. It was low, guttural, and freezing cold. Arthur threw himself back, scrambling into the corner of the room. He couldn't breathe. He thanked God he hadn't opened the door, but the terror was just beginning. The knocking stopped. A heavy, oppressive silence filled the air. 5 minutes passed, then 10, no sound. Maybe he's gone, Arthur thought, slowly standing up. Suddenly, the phone in his pocket buzzed. The screen lit up with the name. Sam. His hands shaking violently, he answered. Hello? Arthur, where are you? Why aren't you answering my texts? It was the real Sam's voice. Clear, groggy, annoyed. Sam, where are you? Weren't you just at my door? Arthur asked, gasping for air. "What are you talking about?" "I'm in bed. It's 3 a.m. Have you lost your mind?" Sam sounded genuinely confused. Arthur hung up. If Sam was at home, who or what was behind the door? Just then, the monitors buzzed back to life. The power had returned. Arthur frantically checked the screens. Camera 1, showing the entrance door, was empty. No one was there. No footprints in the mud. "It was all in my head," Arthur whispered, exhaling sharply. He reached for his water bottle. Then his eyes drifted to camera 3. The camera Mr. Clark said never to stare at. Camera 3 showed the long interior corridor. Standing in the middle of the hallway, with its back to the camera, was a tall figure in a long black coat. It stood perfectly still. Arthur couldn't look away. The figure slowly, very slowly, turned around. It had no face, just smooth, pale skin. But it raised a hand and waved at the camera. And then, the handle of Arthur's guard booth door began to slowly turn. The blood froze in Arthur's veins. He distinctly remembered locking the door from the inside, yet the handle was twisting downward. He grabbed an iron bar from under the desk. He glanced at the monitor one last time. The figure on camera 3 was gone. "Come on, I'm not afraid of you," Arthur yelled, his voice trembling. The door burst open. The hallway was empty. Only the whistling wind and the sound of rain echoed through the corridor. Arthur stepped out cautiously. Nothing. He let out a sigh of relief. "Just the wind," he muttered, trying to comfort himself. Old building, loose latch. He stepped back into the room to close the door. As he pushed it shut, his flashlight beam hit the surface of the door. On the inside of the metal door, the side facing the room, there were muddy fingerprints and deep scratches, as if someone had been trying to get out of the room, not in. Arthur spun around in horror. The guard booth was small. There was nowhere to hide, except the old metal locker in the corner. The locker door was slightly ajar. From the darkness within, 2 gleaming eyes stared back at him. A familiar, raspy voice whispered, "You broke the rules, Arthur." I was already inside. The lights went out again. In the darkness, only Arthur's short scream and the sound of the locker door slamming shut could be heard. When the morning shift arrived, the guard booth was empty. Only the crumpled list of rules and Arthur's phone remained on the desk. On the phone screen, the last recorded video showed nothing but total darkness and the sound of heavy, satisfied breathing.